Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie starts with Tim Thomas calling 911, informing an emergency, and an ambulance is needed at some place in Los Angeles. The woman on other side asks what's emergency. He says there has been a suicide. She again questions who is the victim. He replies, I am. Movie moves forward with a voice of Tim saying, God created the world in 7 days, and I have destroyed mine within 7 minutes. Then Tim is seen complaining about the quality of food and customer service of a food delivery. A blind person named Ezra is taking his call. He becomes personal and starts instigating Ezra. Ezra coolly cuts the call. He starts screaming the names of a few people, and smashes the chair on the floor. It becomes evident that this is not only frustration, but some other reason behind this. That night at the IRS office, he searches for a person online who needs help. He discovers that there is an artist named Emily Posa, with a congenital heart problem and tons of hospital debt. In the next scene, Tim is in search of Emily and heads to her house, but her neighbor informs that she is not home, and she had left in the morning only. He asks if she could tell where he could find her, and then he is in the hospital asking the receptionist for the way to the cardiac wing. In the elevator, Emily appears and enters inside as well. She is dressed in a hospital gown. As this is not the visiting hour, the receptionist doesn't allow him to see Emily. Meanwhile, Emily is sleeping in her hospital bed, and he is standing watching her, but when she wakes up, he leaves the room. He is sitting in a car, his head down, and it's raining heavily. It can be inferred that he is going through something. Then the movie goes into flashback, where he is having a perfect work-life balance, and with a call from his brother, the movie again comes back to the present. His brother questions his whereabouts. While answering the questions, he becomes more disturbed. His brother asks about something of his, taken by Tim, but Tim replies he remembers something he had given him when he was there, and cuts the call reminding him that he loves him. Now Tim travels to an elderly care facility, to see the facility's administrator Stuart. He introduces himself as an IRS agent, and catches the administrator talking to an old lady, asking her she had again denied taking her medicine. She becomes infuriated and he calms her. Then Stuart talks to Tim inside his office. Stuart brags about decreasing the facility's cost, but he himself can afford a brand new car. He requests Tim to extend his deadline for clearing the loan. Because he paid for his failed bone marrow transplant, he requests Tim to wait for his bonus. Tim is unsure of the man's ethics, and so he goes to the old woman's bedroom. He questions her if the administrator is a good person. She tells Tim that the administrator is administering her drugs that make her dizzy, and the facility refuses to bathe her as punishment, because she refuses her medicine. Tim takes the lady to the washroom himself, angrily denying Stuart's request for an extension. He also scolds Stuart for his poor management. Then, Tim meets up with his friend on a golf course, and asks about a doctor, but his friend tells the doctor has not replied yet. Tim reminds his friend of the plan they made. After the meeting, he goes to the hospital's cafeteria. He watches a young patient eating and playing with his mom on the table. From a distance, Emily recognizes him and comes to him. Tim says the lady owes the government a large sum of money. The artist tells that she just got discharged from the hospital, and she is not in position to think about the debt yet. Tim, already knowing the circumstances, leaves the artist lady alone. The same night, Tim rents a hotel room for 2 weeks, and inside he reads an old newspaper about a car crash accident, where 7 people died. The names mentioned in the paper are the same people Tim was screaming in the beginning. The next day, Tim watches junior hockey players practicing on the rink, and the coach from the sidelines encourages his players in a well-mannered way. He visits the artist's home, and feeds her dog a lump of meat, which upsets the lady, as she and her dog are vegetarians. They go inside the house to discuss the lady's financial source, health status, and daily living. Tim says he will freeze Emily's account for 6 months, to buy her time to earn money, with no penalty charge. He hands the lady his business card, and tells her to call him if the IRS contacts her. But before he leaves, Emily asks why it seems she owes him a big favor, and he says it's because he feels she needs the help. At the beach house, Tim recalls happy moments of his late fiancée on the beach. He returns inside and cleans and organizes the entire beach house. Then that night, he transfers his box jellyfish to his motel room. For Tim, jellyfishes are the most pretty creatures he has ever seen. That same day, his friend meets him at his motel room and hands him a consent form regarding a kidney transplant. While Tim signs the consent form, his friend suddenly confesses his jealousy back in their youth. Tim throws him a book, telling his friend to stop distracting him. He wants him to concentrate on the promise and plan. Then his friend tearfully admits the procedure they are doing is painful for him. After the encounter, Tim visits the specialist for child and family services. He asks the specialist for a person who badly needs help, but is too proud to ask for one. The specialist gives Tim the Hispanic immigrant's information. Connie Tipos lives with her 2 kids and an abusive boyfriend, but can't afford to leave. When the specialist asks the reason for Tim's deed, he says he is helping. He goes to interview Connie under the guise of dealing with the IRS. Connie is so embarrassed and humiliated that he knows what's been going on. She says her boyfriend is vexed by Tim's suggestion that she should leave with her kids, and kicks him out of her house. At the hospital, Tim chats with the coach about the kidney transplant. The coach smiles as there will be no more dialysis for him. Tim brings up about the coach helping some of his players in getting college scholarships. But the coach, instead of boasting, tried to evade the matter, saying that he only thinks it's best to finally see Latinos on ice rinks. The coach asks Tim why he chose him. Tim replies the coach has integrity, where the coach does good deeds, even when no one's watching him. The artist Lady Emily walks her dog, and passes through her neighbor's house, where flowers bloom beautifully. Her neighbor tells her that she had used banana peels as advised by Tim. When Emily reaches her house gate, she feels dizzy and collapses there. The neighbor calls the ambulance. As for Tim, he is now following the blind salesperson who he abused in the beginning. He watches him playing the piano in the public mall. He again sees him at a coffee shop, trying to promote himself to teach piano lessons to the waitress's son. Tim walks up to the salesman and mentions the salesman's name, that shocked and scared the salesman. At night in the motel room, Emily calls Tim and tells him everything about what happened. Tim heads towards the hospital where she was admitted. While talking on the phone, she asks Tim to tell a happy story. He comforts her with a story about a boy named Tim and his little brother, and spends the night at her bedside. Here he hasn't disclosed his real name yet. In the morning, the doctor tells them about her heart enlargement, and that she has very little time left. So the doctor makes her status a priority. The doctor gives her a pager that will ring when a donor comes up. To cheer Emily up, Tim brings her dog to hospital while she is still confined. That night, after being beaten by her boyfriend again, Connie contacts Tim. He meets her, tells her not to be weak, and gives her the keys and directions to his beach house. She takes her 2 children and they move into the safe house. Then she reads a letter from Tim which includes the deed to the house, again giving no explanation, and asking for her to respect his wishes, not try to contact him, not tell anyone how she got the house, and live life abundantly. Next morning, Tim takes Emily along with her dog from the hospital. While they travel, Emily tries to flirt with him, but he dismisses her, especially when she asks him about his love life. Tim weeds her lawn as an apology. She accepts it and takes him to tour her workshop studio. She shows him her letterpress printing workshop, and she presents him the Heidelberg Windmill 1956, whom she calls the Beast, but it's not working anymore, and she finds it difficult to find someone who knows how to fix it. Later, they go to an empty field, where she talks about her dreams, which seem impossible because of her heart condition. That night, Tim sneaks into her studio to fix the Beast, along with her dog. He returns home late, and sleeps in his motel room. There he dreams about flashes of car accident, which happened due to carelessly sending a text message while driving, veers across the center line into oncoming traffic, and causes a multi-car crash in which 7 people died, 6 strangers and his fiancée, Sarah Jensen. He sees all the blood on the road, and once again goes to the hospital to donate bone marrow. Opting to have no anesthesia during the procedure, an evident consequence of his desire for atonement. In each case, he does not tell the people why he's doing what he's doing, despite being repeatedly asked. Emily invites him for a romantic dinner date, and Tim has his final date with her, and goes to his car to get a gift for her. This is where Ben confronts Tim, and makes Tim give back Ben's IRS information, revealing Ben is the real IRS agent Ben Thomas, and Tim stole his brother's identity temporarily. This makes sense, why Tim was following sick people around and how he used Ben's credentials to try and talk to them, but really trying to help them out. Once Tim gets back to the hospital, he calls 911, and sets up his final act. Submerged in a bathtub of ice water, Tim allows himself to be stung to death by the jellyfish. His carefully planned act preserves his organs, allowing 7 people to be saved. His best friend is a lawyer, and has Tim's organs given to the people of Tim's choosing, which he chose from the people he visited or saw throughout the movie. People find out Tim was their donor, the story behind why he did the actions. Emily meets Ezra and shows that Tim didn't die for nothing. All the people he knew deserved healthy lives, and what they needed or wanted, they got because of him. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out.